MX, hello to you. Could you please give an introduction about yourself?
Absolutely. My name is MX. That's what they know me as professionally online. And I joined the real world about 2 years ago now, back in 2022. And I've had tremendous success through the copywriting campus and through various other campuses in the real world, including the fitness campus and the AI campus. And I've made lots of money through it. And I've had tremendous amount of freedom as well.
Okay, well, that sounds great. So, to start out, how comes you joined the real world? What was the catalyst for it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you a bit of a backstory. So I'm about 22 years old. This was back in 2022, and I'm in my last year of university. And as I'm getting to the end of the year, I've got my exams coming up, and beyond that, I can't envision myself because I was doing an engineering degree. I can't envision myself being an engineer because although I enjoyed it, I don't think I would be a good engineer, and I wouldn't be a very fulfilling career for me. So I've always known that I need to do something on the side. I need to build myself up in some way, and I'm on my last credits because I haven't got enough time to fiddle around with things. So I jumped into the real world with a fire under my ass. Like I have to make this work, and I heard a lot of good things about it, and I thought, you know what, $50 doesn't really, it's not too much of an upfront investment. So I went in there and gave it my best, and structured it was so good. They literally told you, they gave a great framework for anyone who's starting out and what position they're in to narrow it down what side hustles they could go into. And I landed in copywriting. So that was my main reason for getting into the real world. And about 2 weeks into the copywriting course, I'd learned everything that they'd offered at the time, and I was just trying to get clients. And it was really tough. Like first 2 weeks were incredibly tough. Ask anyone. It's so hard to do outreach, especially when you've never done it before and you never made money online ever. It's an incredibly difficult thing to do. So I started doing tons of outreach, and like I said, I've got this fire under my ass. I've got to make this work. I sent like 100 emails a day, just bang, 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 every single day. And eventually, you land a client. You get on a call with them. Never been on a call with anyone in my life before. Especially when you're doing online work. Never done any of that before, and this is my first real experience of doing that. And I get on a call with this guy who runs this Instagram account. He's got like 100K followers. He's got a decent amount of money coming in, and he sells this cooking course, right? And I do some work for him, and I get my first paycheck within the same month that I've done in the real world. So that was my beginning.
Good. So, as an engineer, I presume you do need to put in quite a lot of work into studies. So,
Yeah,
instead of channeling it into studies, is transmuting the right word? Let's just say you transmuted it into copywriting instead.
yeah,
And so the work ethic was there, and it's what actually allowed you
absolutely.
to achieve your first client in just your first month,
Yeah,
which yeah, is a very cool accomplishment. You said 100 clients a day you were reaching out to, right?
yeah. 100 emails a
So
day I
yeah,
just sent out.
wow. Okay.
That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah, it just shows that it is really just up to your work ethic. The
Exactly.
guidelines are there, the framework, everything that you need is there to guide you
Yeah,
to getting money through copywriting, but it's purely just you putting in the work, right? In order
yeah.
to succeed. Okay. And then that was your first client. So how did things scale from there?
So after my first client, luckily this guy was pretty well known online, and I did so much good work for him, and I made quite a few sales from him up front. I made a couple of welcome sequences for him, and then a couple of daily emails, and we started to get a lot more sales, and he was really happy with the work. He gave me a testimonial, which I put on my Instagram at the time, and then this opened the doors to more clients, which he knew within his network. So paired with that, I also was doing more outreach, not at the same level because I did already have a client, and I needed to manage him. I was still doing outreach through emails, through Instagram DMs, and I started to get a lot better at pitching my offer, and it became a lot more. difficult for people to look at the offer and say, "Nah, we're not interested at that time." You build up that skill of pitching it in such a way that they just, it would be stupid for them to say no. So that's
Mhm.
what I got better at. And then eventually I landed another client who was an e-commerce coach. He was selling an e-commerce drop shipping course. And this was the one client at the time that I wasn't too sure if I was going to make a lot of sales from him, because I've never really done anything like super high level. Like selling a cookbook's one thing, right? But then selling an offer that's like worth 1K plus, that's the whole different story. And at the start, it was a bit rocky, but then eventually, when I got the hang of it, I started to get tons of sales from him. And this is one of my main clients who I've got the most sales for. So within the next few months, I managed to get him around 100K plus in sales, which is a great achievement for me.
Mhm. Okay, so again, scaling very well with the clients you're working with. Super happy, so they're referring you to other people.
Yeah.
And is there any more to add to, again, how you continue to scale up to this point where you are now?
Yeah. So at this point, I'm out of uni. I finished my exams, and I'm just about gearing up to get into my fourth year of uni. And I do want to spend a little bit more time because I've done about 3 years of engineering degree, so I may as well finish it off. That was my whole mindset at the time, and I'm getting into that, and also I'm managing the online business at the same time. So things did start to slow down a little bit as I focused a little bit on the engineering degree, and then I think probably around February. This is one of the great things about the freelancing campus that I'm going to touch on. Dylan teaches some great, incredible ways to put yourself out there in the world, especially in the online space where you have a great, perfectly curated online presence, and you put your best foot forward. And I didn't really need to do too much outreach at this point because one guy actually approached me without I knew nothing about him. He approached me. He was a millionaire, a restaurant owner from Manchester, and yeah, I did some incredible work for him as well alongside my degree. So as much as online work was slowing down a little bit, I still had people coming in and coming to me for work, which was an incredible thing. And then eventually, I get out of university. I finished my degree, finished my exams and everything, got my degree. And at this point, I got in touch with a very highly respectable guy within the network. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Um, and we basically partnered up because he was starting to push out a lot more online, which is something he's never done before. And I was able to put my best foot forward again and provide him with incredible value up front. And up until this point, he has, although we're not working together anymore and he's closed that kind of chapter of his life, we're still working together in the sense that he's so impressed with my work that I've done for him that he's willing to do more testimonials for me still to this point, and has actually opened way more doors for me. I'm actually working with people like Luke Barnett now, who's a direct referral from this person, and yeah, it's just been incredible. It's just been growing ever since. So yeah,
Mhm. So yeah, congratulations on that.
thank you, thank you.
All right. What do you actually do for all those people? What kind of services do you offer in terms of copywriting?
So for copywriting, I offer landing page. I make a lot of landing pages for people, writing all the copy on it, forming the page itself, and then I do welcome sequences, daily value, emails and messages, written stuff, and that's my main offer. So I get sales for people through those various avenues, and then for other people, I also, if you need it, I also do social media management where I post on your Instagram, your X. It will all be written content, and then even Telegram channels. I manage those as well. So a lot
Mhm.
of different various social channels to get more sales to your business, basically.
Very solid. And how much has that led to you earning in total?
So far, I calculated it, and I can confidently say that I've earned about 25K plus from the real world thanks to the copywriting campus.
Mhm. Super solid. So congratulations. While studying in
Yeah.
university still, So you have an
Yeah.
engineering degree that you're working on, and on the side earning 25K. So very solid. All right. And what did you actually do then to advance in copywriting, advance your skill in that field? How did you continue improving after having gone through all the real world courses?
Yeah. So after the boot camp, which is your initial baby steps into the world of copywriting, we do offer a lot of infrastructure where you can collaborate with other people and constantly improve your skills. They have daily calls. You can interact with people in the real world and get other people's opinions on things who are, been in the industry for a very long time. And I got a lot more feedback from that, and I was able to improve in that sort of way.
Mhm. What
And also, you
about
just get
recommending, let's say, to people who want to advance more, maybe recommending resources or material to them? Would you have something to say for it?
yeah. So for the real world, once you finish the boot camp, I'd recommend really after you get your first client is to just try and do as much work for them as you can. That's how you build your skills, by doing real work, and then also explore as much that AI can offer, because we're in an era right now where AI is like at the forefront, and with especially with written content, it can help so much with allowing you to like conceptualize different frameworks for selling things, and um, really creating that um, that mind muscle for really improving as you're writing for people.
Mhm. And speaking of AI, what do you say to people who are thinking, there's no need for copywriters because you can just use ChatGPT for it?
Yeah, so ChatGPT is one of those things where if you only use ChatGPT, you're not going to write good copy at all. Like, this is why you need things like the real world to teach you the fundamentals. Once you have the fundamentals, you can utilize ChatGPT to make work to help you work faster, not necessarily better.
Mhm.
Because in order to get better, you need to know copywriting as is, right? The only thing ChatGPT will be able to do is help you write faster. But AI in general it's such an incredible thing, and I know they've got the AI campus in the real world now, which is just a whole nother level of sophistication. It's the level of things that they teach and that incredible. So when I was doing copywriting, I actually started doing a lot of AI stuff on the side, and I got more interested in AI. And I went into the AI campus in the real world to see what they were teaching. And they're teaching content creation, which is one of the things I did my toes in. So back in the early December, I decided to do a little bit of content creation on TikTok just to see how things would go. I was testing things out, and towards the end of December, once I finally got the hang of things and I was actually making good AI content, and I actually made around 4K just from TikTok in that 1 month. And now, paired with the copywriting that I'm doing and the TikTok content using AI, I'm actually on track to make about 8K plus from the real world, which is incredible.
Again, still while being a university student.
Yeah.
Insane. I wonder, in your university, what percentage of income earners are you? Like in terms of the top, you're probably like top however many. Like surely you're a top, at least top 10, no, in your university for
Yeah.
earnings. Because who else in university is
Absolutely.
making 8K per month or
Exactly.
more?
Dude, all the people who are making that kind of money in university, they've already left.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
not in university anymore. So I'm in like the top probably 1% of students who making money at university.
Yeah, yeah, crazy. All right, and where do you see this scaling for you then? Like, where do you see it heading for you in the short term, medium term, long term?
So short term, I'm actually looking at different avenues of the real world, and I'm looking into the investing campus and, like I said, the AI campus, and really trying to build up that cash flow for me month after month. I'm looking to hit eventually that 10K. We're at 8K at the moment, not quite there, but we're scaling up. And then medium term, I'm actually partnering with a guy who runs a very successful TikTok content creation agency. So I'm really excited to see what we can do there. I can probably put some of my AI and copywriting skills to use there as well. And then long term, eventually I want to start my own content creation agency, which will have a full, what's the word I'm looking for? A complete package for people who want to put themselves out there. So they'll do writing, a lot of content creation for them, utilizing a lot of AI, and guiding people in how to put themselves out there in the online world.
Let me know how much you're comfortable revealing for this. So, what do you actually do for TikTok in terms of content creation at the moment?
Yeah, so for TikTok, we generally just look for the best niches to tap into. There's a lot of push for AI generated content on TikTok at the moment, and once we identify a good niche, we capitalize on it and use all of the tools that are available online today to create the best version of that niche possible. And generally, that creates a lot of good results in terms of the quality of the content that gets put on the platform. So once you have a good following on an account that's within that niche, you can start to monetize it, and you have this thing called a creativity program beta, where you can actually start earning from your views. And if it's good content and it reaches the right audiences, you can earn upwards of $1 per 1,000 views. And this past 2 weeks, I've got about 10 million views. So it's not that hard to scale on TikTok, honestly, especially when you have good content.
It's surprising. I didn't realize they're given $1 per 1,000 views on short form content, because that used to be a thing on YouTube. I remember like a while ago that you actually would be able to get $1 per 1,000 views on long form content.
I actually believe like TikTok is in its golden era at the moment. Like it's in its golden age. Like when YouTube had its golden age back then, when it first came out and people were like dabbling in it back in 2012, and people were actually making a lot of money from it. And then you have Instagrams, which was like in 2016, and now it's TikTok, which is like blowing up like crazy, and people are making a lot of money from it.
Interesting. Okay, so insightful there. Thank you. What do your parents say about what you're doing? How did they react to it?
So initially, my parents, when I told my mom that I've made this much money for my first client, she was actually pretty happy for me. She was like, "Okay, you're doing great things. That's awesome." But then after university, comes to a close, and you want to figure out your next steps, there was a lot of push for me to go into engineering. They didn't really see the vision for it at first. All this online stuff. My dad actually, I was speaking to my dad about it, and I was telling him that I'm making these emails for these really high-paying clients and stuff. And he's a bit of an old school guy. He's very brick and mortar. He's got his own business, and he didn't initially believe in it. He didn't think that, okay, well, all this online world is very woozy, and he didn't really understand it. And then I showed him how much I was making, and then he was like, okay, all right, now I understand. So it's one of those things where you gotta show your parents the results and let them know that you're actually doing something and you're going towards a good direction, and then they'll start to believe in it.
Because most parents, they do just want the best for you, and sometimes they don't understand what it is that you're doing. So once you show them results and they see, he really knows that this is probably the best path for him, so I'll just trust him with it. And you can only really do that through actually showing them results.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So I'd say in terms of questions, that's pretty much everything for this interview. So I end off with, for people who are unsure about joining the real world because they're thinking they might get scammed for $50, what advice would you have to them?
I think if you're looking for something that's, apart from your real job, or you're not really sure what direction to take, $50 for an investment into something that could turn into absolutely something amazing is not really that much of a risk if you think about it. And if you're worried about being scammed out of $50, then I think you might need to change your mindset about what it is you prioritize in life. So when I first started in the real world, $50, it did seem like quite a lot to me because I was a broke uni student. But if you're willing to take that, dive into something, and if you're willing to actually go into, what's the word I'm looking for? actually explore things that are outside your comfort zone. I think you'll find a lot is there to find. So yeah, definitely just go for it because it's only $50 at the end of the day. People spend that on their lunch and they don't even think about it.
And that reminded me, I did say we'd end off, but I think this is a pretty big one. How has your average day
Yeah.
changed since you've joined the real world? So how different does it look like now compared to before?
Yeah. So when I was a broke uni student, I'd wake up kind of late. Again, I wasn't too interested in engineering, so sometimes some days I'll go to lectures, some days I wouldn't, and it was pretty much like I didn't really know what hard work was back then. I do my odd essays, and I spend like nights doing them and pull all nighters and stuff like that. But that was like far and in between. But then when I got into the real world, and I really wanted to succeed, I was finally doing something that I could actually see gradual improvement in, and I could actually see the results I was making. That kind of pushes you forward to do more, right? It kind of lights a fire in you. So eventually I got to the point where I was working a lot harder and I actually understood what hard work was. I would wake up pretty much around, early morning, right to my laptop, get as much work done as possible, and then off to the gym. And then when I come back from the gym, do a little bit more work, eat a little bit, and then I'd have time to relax because the little amount of work, well, not little, but the hard work that I put up front in the day would translate into me having to getting to relax a little bit. So a lot more structured.
All right. Good. And yeah, that can conclude with that as the final question. And now, for people who want to
Yeah.
find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got my Instagram, which is like my main social media at the moment. It's called mx_xrij. You can reach me out there. And I'm not really active on other social platforms, so Instagram's a main one.
We'll add that to the description of the video, so anyone interested can check that.
Yeah.
And yeah, MX, great speaking to you. Let's do a follow-up in 3-4 months, see how you're scaling, get more in depth into everything you're doing then. For now, this is more of an introductory to see, set the, how would you say, yeah, just an introductory to see how you're doing, get the viewer accustomed to you. And now every 3-4 months, we'll do follow-ups and track your progress and just have everything documented on how you're doing. So until the next
absolutely.
one, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rokas.